What is going on, everybody? This is James Grandmaster Facts Boyce, and you're here for another episode of the Facts Project. Today, very special guest, as we have Stephanie Williams back on the program. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you for the invite back.
Absolutely. Look, I felt like it was only right. We had a chance to talk about Bitchcraft, of course, by Aaron Reese, which is now going on issue 3.
Yeah.
I believe I already saw the pre-orders for issue 4 and issue 5, and the trade paperback are already pretty much out there. So it's good to see something that we talked about, that entire storyline, of course, coming to fruition, and now
Yes.
almost taking full shape because the series is pretty much done in the next couple months, but that trade paperback is going to be on its way pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into that, like as
Yeah,
far as
yeah.
far as Bitchcraft, what has the reception been like? Because I know we had a chance to
Mhm.
talk about it. Now the release of the book, and I know you've been wanting to get opportunities to talk about that story as well.
Yeah,
How,
yeah.
how's that been going?
It's been going well. Graphic Policy has been doing a very good job of like a review every month. The reviewer's name is Logan. I am so sorry that I am blanking on your last name, but
Hmm.
I just want to say thank you for not just reviewing issue 1, but like continuing to like review the issues that have come after it. And I don't know, it's been great. Like I've been at conventions and I've had people come up to me and like mention Bitchcraft. I was recently at Atlantic Comic Con. I got to talk to Amazing David about Bitchcraft. So like it's been beautiful. I just wish my friend was here to like, receive all this love that is just deserved.
Absolutely. And I always talk about it before. Like it's a fabulous storyline for anybody that is definitely into it. Of course, from a queer perspective, the aspect of fantasy between this coven
Mhm.
happened to be just like this great phenomenal book.
Yeah.
But with Mad Cave, you
Mhm.
now have your solo project that's going to be dropping in the next couple weeks
Yeah.
called Temporal. October 8th, I believe, is the release
Mhm.
date. So we have to get into this because I saw the cover and I ordered the pre-order of the I think it was there's a cover that's basically out there with the DeLorean cover, almost like the Back to the
Mhm.
Future cover. Now, who did this cover, by the way?
Kari Randolph did, and he did a phenomenal job. In fact, like I remember when we were like trying to think of like just cover ideas, and I knew if we were able to get Kari on this,
Hmm.
I wanted him to do a Back to the Future situation because one, I don't know, like I just thought that would be just if I walked into a comic shop and I saw this black woman like leaning against a DeLorean, and given how big of a sci-fi fan I am, I
Yep.
would have immediately picked it up. So I was hoping to kind of I'm hoping that there were many others out there in the world that are like me that see it and are just like, wow. And even the reception that I've gotten for that cover and also Torrens have just been phenomenal because it's just like, okay, like the covers are doing what covers are supposed to do, which is to make you want to pick up a book.
Yeah, for sure. And,
Yeah.
and of course, with you writing as well,
Yeah, of
not,
course,
not,
of
not to take away
course.
from the story.
Yeah.
But where did the to get into the story, where did the idea of Time Thieves and popping in and out of history come from?
This one actually came from a conversation Aaron and I were having one day. We
Mm.
were really good for like 3 4 hour long conversations. It's a miracle either one of us ever got anything done. But it was during one of these conversations. I think either I must have had a convention coming up because I think I mentioned like looking for my son, looking for a Game Gear for him
Okay.
because he's really into retro gaming and he calls himself a purist. So he like wants to play the original stuff versus like emulations and stuff like that. So I mentioned to him, like, man, I hope it must have been Rose City. I was like, I hope when I get to Rose City, like, I can find this Game Gear. And he was just like, you turn into Laura Croft when you're at the comic conventions because you're always looking for like some retro tech. And we were just kind of goofing after that and just it just turned into a bunch of Tomb Raider jokes because we both love that movie.
Oh my.
But out of that, I went to sleep that night and it stayed with me
Mhm.
and I thought about it in the fact that when I came in with Parenthood Activate, like that's where a lot of other people found me was through these retellings that I would do about, being a mom and, just having a whole family. And I knew that I wanted my first original to be something that was like near and dear to me and that ended up being this. So I know Roots of Madness comes out before Temporal, but technically Temporal was my first creator-owned project that I started writing beforehand. And I thought about it and I was just like, well, what if there was a mom that was kind of like, this ex-time thief? Because Time Cop is another movie that I really love.
Hmm.
And yes, I know it's like, it's clunky and all these other things, but like, I don't know, that's the beauty of late 80s, early 90s sci-fi action. It's just like, yeah, if you think about it too much, none of this makes sense, but that's not the
True.
point. We're gonna have a good time. And I just kind of thought that that world was fascinating. Like I was like, well, what if time actually was incorporated into the economy and like this was the new thing, right? Like this is our new like, politics are decided by this. That's what happens in kind of in the movie.
Mhm.
The economy is deeply tied to it and like sure time theory is supposed to be bad, but it's not because people are really into the nostalgia of it all. So I'm like, if we have this economy in this world that's built on, our love for nostalgia and so on and so forth, like maybe this is what this looks like.
Yeah, and
Uh,
the way
yeah.
that you drew up this world,
Uh huh.
there's actually like I think she has an assistant, and
Yeah.
her assistant is of course getting approved for like some
Mm-hmm.
PTO, and
Yeah.
she's actually got accepted to the Temporal Academy. So this is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like just a whole basis job that it
Yeah.
actually exists in 2072 in the world that you built.
Yes. And funny enough, it comes out of so when I thought further into it, I was like, well, how do we get here? Like how does time, being able to go back in time, like how did this even become a thing? And my favorite thing about a lot of just sci-fi, disaster, whatever films is that, a problem comes out of trying to solve a problem for some of them, right?
Hmm.
And I thought, well, if they try to solve, climate change by messing with the moon, at different points in time in history, they discover like, oh wait, the moon is like we can use the moon to control time and change things around. So out of them trying to solve climate change, they discovered that the moon allows them to mess with time. So not just the water and the tides and stuff, but literal time. And then it turns into this whole big thing. Yeah, it just turns into this whole big thing. And I had to sit down and I was like, okay, so I'm finally writing a book that I would want to see with black characters in it. Like there's no necessarily high stakes, so to speak. I mean, the world's always ending, right? So that's not at this point, that's not really high stakes. It's just run of the mill day. But just kind of like this fun romp that, secretly is, my exploration into like, what it's like to become a mom and how you kind of lose yourself, but you feel a little guilty about that. So then you're
Yeah.
trying to, think about your life beforehand. But of course, things are the way that they're supposed to be, and your acceptance in that and so on. So uh, that is very, very long-winded version of how Temporal came to be. Is so many things that kind of went into the creation of this.
And that's a great answer. Now, when we were talking about the time thieves in question,
Mm-hmm.
Savannah
Yes.
and Marcus,
Uh-huh.
they started out as just co-workers, I'm guessing,
Mm-hmm.
and then dating to marriage, so on and so
Yeah.
forth. Now, how did you approach balancing Savannah, who of
Uh-huh.
course is the main character in this, her past life versus her current life?
Yeah. Again, just trying to just think of how I felt before, like when I became a mom, like me becoming a mom is really what set the stage for where I am now. Like that was the driving
Yeah.
force and the catalyst. So that was my canon event.
Mm.
Or if you want to think of superhero comics, but that was a canon event for me. And when I thought about that and like how I function now and balancing motherhood, being a wife, all of these things, like I was able to really pull because there is this fine line that she's kind of trying to traverse. And it sort of works for her, but it doesn't because again, sometimes it's just her excuse for wanting to go back in time because she wants to, do something for her son is very real, but also selfishly, it is her wanting to see if she still has it. And then there's been moments where I feel guilty about traveling,
Mm,
but I gotta go because it's a part of the job. So just
yeah,
thinking about these things, and then sometimes saying like maybe I could have just said no to this one convention and stay home this weekend.
right.
But then it's not as cut and dry. So again, like this book is maybe me putting myself out there on Front Street, but again, like really digging into some of the stuff that I am dealing with or have dealt with and just, exploring it in a fictional way.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
Harper's disappointment, of course, propels
Uh-huh.
Savannah and in this whole first issue. How important are family and identity in Temporal's narrative?
So important. So very much so. Just I don't know, like the idea of family, and as you get older and you are again, things look different. Even your family, whatever your relationship might be with them, like you're getting older, they're also getting older.
Hmm.
And that makes you start looking at things a little bit differently. So in the case of Savannah and Harper, he's 10, like 10 years have gone by like that.
Hmm.
And it's a little bit of, okay, I'm at this stage where, he's still my little baby, but also he is maybe 8 years from moving out because he's going to go away to college and stuff like so. Like again, who am I and what do I look like once that happens? And of course you're thinking about that 8 years beforehand, but time is still it's still going to happen. But even as parents sometimes, and just people in general, like I said, when you're getting older, your family getting older, we seem to kind of like time travel a little bit in our minds as far as memories and just different, I don't know, like different expectations we had. Even going back in time because it feels comfortable, like your
Yeah.
memories are that, right?
Hmm.
So just thinking of that in a big, messy, mega brain way, and how time is just so, yeah, related to us and our love for our family and how we view them, our love for them, our distrust of them, all these things. I don't
Yeah.
know, like I just felt was tied to time.
Now,
Oh my God, I sound like Christopher Nolan. I do not want to sound like
but you know what? It's okay because I feel like that's the setup.
yes.
But because of the Inception type skill that basically is going on here, aren't there usually like consequences with history? Small,
Oh,
small
absolutely.
or large? Like what could
Oh,
go wrong?
yes. So many things could go wrong. And things do go wrong. They have to.
They have to.
But no, they do, and it's actually important that they do, especially in this story. Because again, like time is time, but like fate is also, if you want to bring that into the mix. So now we're kind of branching off into that too. And again, like this just felt like the perfect. Ooh, I hate to use the word plot device because it's just so negative, but
Mhm.
just time in itself using that as kind of like your plot device. I don't know, it's just something that I've always been enamored with. Funny though, I said I would never write a story that dealt with time travel, but
And
I
I
I
wonder why.
lied to
Why?
myself. Well, because I'm black. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so,
Okay.
so that because it's just like, well, time travel exists, so now we got to go address all of these things
Hmm.
before we have fun. And I was like, yeah, no. I'm just like, and not even like a dismissive, disrespectful way, but like, no, I want to write this story, and this is what this story is,
Uh-huh.
and it's fiction. So
Is that maybe the reason why you time traveled to 1986 and not 1966?
hell yes. Yes, is exactly why. So in my stipulation to not wanting to write any time travel stuff is like if I wouldn't want to write anything past the 1980s, which it's not like it's any better, but
No.
funny enough, yes, that still is working out for me in this. But absolutely.
Got you. Now, in what ways do you think that this particular book speaks on there's heavy issues about choices,
Hmm.
regrets, and value? Because even though the disappointment happened,
Uh-huh.
she does make a choice to
Yeah.
jump back into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Just one last time, as a one shot, as she's proclaiming, but she's also being a little bit dismissive towards her husband.
Uh-huh.
So, how do these issues, choices, regrets, and the value of her relationship take shape throughout this entire series?
Not good. Because again, we are we're of course our choices have consequences. And this again is like Savannah and herself is not meant is I didn't write her to be a character that was perfect. She is obviously flawed.
Yeah,
And I think it's very important to show that. And through her dynamic with her husband, like, yes, he's there, he's supportive. And just like that's a good man, Savannah, like literally. Right.
yeah,
But even yes,
that's a good base.
but even with that, of all of these things that people can look and project on you to think like this is how you should be reacting and like what are you doing? We
Right.
people rarely do what the things that they should and make sense for them for an assortment of reasons. And unfortunately for her, like, again, like her intent might be good, but on the flip side, like there is going to be some repercussions for it.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
the selection that we've seen where she finally comes to the notion that she's doing this.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
totally in. And we get introduced to where this is an actual department. This is a
Mm-hmm.
business. It's almost in scale. She meets up with a couple old co-workers in order to
Uh-huh.
get brought back in. Am I saying that correctly?
Uh-huh.
The Epoch Concourse,
Mm-hmm.
where she used to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now she gets a pro. Well, she has a meeting with like her old boss, and she is like a prodigy of some sorts.
Uh-huh.
How did, for one, I guess the Temporal Academy, she must have been like numero uno, top of her scores. But the thing is, what is the actual function of this place?
It is just a still shit. So and I hate that it like there is nothing. It is literally they go back and they purchase they steal certain things because
Right.
again like there is a market for the most frivolous things. And again like time travel is really the way that I thought about it is like how if like Disney ran.
Oh
You know
man.
what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Or Universal and these big corporations. That's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, it's not for any like they already did the good thing. They saved the
Yeah.
earth from climate change, but we got to replace one bad with another one. And depending on how you look at it, it's either great because now we got a stable functioning economy, or it's terrible because we are literally going and stealing things from ourselves
Right.
to bring them to the future
You would
for
honestly,
consumption.
right. And you would
Mhm.
think, honestly, like if their whole job is thievery,
Uh-huh.
how is this place not just going through the ordeals of causing cataclysmic setups back in that older time, or better yet,
Yes.
creating rifts through or ripple effects
Yeah. Hmm.
throughout certain things that are happening in present day,
Yeah,
all,
yeah.
all just being the department that they are.
Yeah. It's almost like they are doing to the earth what we're currently doing when it comes to overdue deforestation, so on and so forth. Because when I was thinking about time for this particular story, I was like, well, what if time was kind of like an ecosystem?
Right.
And how, like, what does that look like? How does that kind of function? And like, how, in what ways could you harm it? Um, and like, I don't know. I thought about going back and just getting certain things after a while. Like, are we pulling too many trees? So that's kind of the level of
Yeah.
thinking of how time kind of functions in this world,
So I guess
or time travel, I should say.
yeah,
Mhm.
and it's like I guess it almost takes into accord the fact that you chose a story that you normally wouldn't do. So let me just show
Mhm.
you all the consequences that could possibly happen if
Uh-huh.
time travel did exist.
Uh-huh.
Is that pretty much what you
No.
go
Well,
for?
no, not actually, no. It's not even the I guess if you take consequences out of it, sure.
Yeah.
But really, no, this is the way that that functions is just this is just something that is happening, which is really messed
Yeah.
up and should not be. But also, because one of my favorite things about disaster movies, or especially like a 2012, where the world is literally imploding on itself, crumbling, but also you're looking at this family who is just as messed up, but somehow the family ends up mending
Hmm.
as the world is, imploding, and then, hopefully everything is okay at the end. But yeah, like that is, yeah, that's, yeah,
Oh,
without giving too much away, yes.
no, 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 no. Look, I love it. I even love the fact that Savannah has a computer with the back.
Yeah, yes. Again, yes, like this whole nostalgia of it all. Another thing that I've always like really appreciated about especially like movies and like sci-fi 80 movies and stuff is
Hmm.
that, and then going thinking about Star Trek, like the OG version, and how the future just looks like well polished applications of whatever today and time today looks like, or what today for that time was. So like,
Hmm.
in Star Trek, everything, if you look at it, is still very much so, yes, it's the 60s,
Yeah.
70s, but also at the same time, like there's got that futuristic look to it. I think of Alien and how the ship looked on that, very looking at that very late 70s 80s tech, but it's got that futuristic look to it. So I'm like, yeah, it makes sense that the further we get in future in this story, that the more people will want to cling to things of the past,
Mm.
like that big bad computer.
Right. Now you talked about the fact of getting your son a Game Gear,
Uh-huh.
which I already think is phenomenal for a mom to do.
Oh, I did find it at Rose.
And
So
you
I
did,
like it's, yes.
so you did get it.
Yes, I
But
did get it.
is there anything of value out of nostalgia that you don't currently have that you always wish you had?
Oh man, that is a great question. Well, at one point it was Jordans, but then I got older and like bought some and
Yeah.
remember like Jordans aren't very comfortable. So there's that. Those are, I just want to be seeing shoes. But that is a great question. A house, because homes are very expensive.
Yeah.
So like I that's very an adult answer, but um no, no, that is a great question.
Hmm.
But you know what? Maybe I've proven the point, because all of the things that I might have wanted when I was younger, I think I've retroactively gone and gotten as an
Right.
adult with money.
Hmm.
I think about wanting you know, uh I don't know, like a switch to myself in the same way that I would have wanted a council to myself when I was
Yeah.
younger. Bought that. Again, like I said, the Jordans. Yeah, no. And if you look at my desk, there are statues and figurines on it, stuff that I
Right.
wanted when I was younger. So no, because I think I've kind of, if it's been available, I've gotten it. Oh,
Or
yeah. So
yeah. No, I think you definitely have it. So as far, okay, I'll ask this. The creative collaboration
yeah, yeah.
between yourself, Asia, DJ,
Mm-hmm.
Becca, how did that come about? Because you had this story,
Yeah, yeah.
and the selling point, that was this a conversation between you and Asia and DJ? Be like, you know what? I'm doing this. I know we don't really mess with time travel that much, but we doing it.
Yeah. Because what happened? This was our before I even knew that I was going to be pitching Temporal, or Temporal even came to mind. Like I knew I wanted to work with Asia. After Sanford Green of all people had introduced us at
Mm,
Heroes Con. So I really loved Asia's art. Like I would have been following her before then, but we just never crossed paths.
yeah,
So when we finally did, I was like, well, if you have the time, whenever I do pitch my first, creator own, I'd love to have you on it, especially if it's like a sci-fi adventure theme, because I just think her art style would fit it so well.
yeah,
So that happened. And then same thing with DJ. I was like, hey, I end up pitching something. I love to have you color. And it just so happened to work out that way, that I had pre-assembled this team prior to even, I don't know, like even pitching Temporal. Like I just had the foresight that whatever it was, I wanted them on it. And then Becca was just luck of the draw, really. It
yeah.
was really great to re-team up with her and working with her in the past on the Nubia books. So that just happened to work out. Like James was like, "Hey, Becca Carey's available," and I was like, "Absolutely, yes."
Oh man. Now Asia's style, I gotta
Hmm.
say, like it's reminiscent of like golden age books
Yes.
where the comic style is very almost like episodic
Yeah. Uh-huh.
in a sense, and how this whole issue, this first issue kind of like goes, like the way that the pacing that
Mhm.
that she puts in this is phenomenal. Like to be honest, it felt more of a series than a lot of other series tend to
Well,
be.
thank you. Yes, she deserves a ton of praise because yeah, she's done Amethyst before and like two other books, but Asia really like took this where it needed to go. Like I'm just so happy that one, she was available, and two, I don't know, like we have her artistic storytelling available for this
Hmm.
for the reason that you gave, because I was hoping that the book would feel that way. Like I want you to want to pick up the next issue after reading, after reading the first one, because it's important. Like number ones are important, but so is two, three, four, and so
Right.
on.
And now who is the ideal reader for Temporal?
Honestly, that's a great question. So of course, Black women, because that's who I'm always thinking of at the forefront. Lovers of sci-fi action, especially if 80s, 90s is your sweet spot.
Hmm.
If you're somebody who would enjoy the works of, let's say, Robert Townsend.
Oh,
So yeah, so like if Robert Townsend would have directed something that was kind of, well, Meteor Man is sci-fi, but a little bit away from the superhero
I
thing.
guess you got a combination of things. You got the parenthood in there.
Yeah, yeah, yes, 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 yes. So there's that. Um, yeah, like if you're a fan of black classic black cinema, as I like to call it,
Mhm.
so sure our late 80s, 90s, early 2000s, definitely check it out. And if you're just looking for a nice escape, right? Again, this is the stakes are high, but also they're not.
Yeah.
And if you are, just looking for a good time and you want to read something where you're going to walk away like, okay, I really enjoyed that.
Right.
This is definitely for you. I don't want to say that it's all ages. I would say, 12 and up, 14
Yeah.
and up type of
Okay.
vibe. But yeah.
Got you. Now it's a limited series.
Hmm.
Um, how does knowing that there's an end formulate pacing?
Love it.
Yeah.
Coming from, yeah, as somebody who like my very first comics were just a page long. So I'm someone who has I won't say gotten used to, but like trying to write a story in a page or in 8 pages or whatever, like you really, really um page economy really matters. It always does, but it's even more precious to you because you only have a limited amount of time to tell a story. So you have to figure out best pacing. And I
Mhm.
would like to think that because I knew this was going to have an ending to it, it's great because all I got to do is worry about the journey, the in between, and knowing how it's going to end is great. I'm someone who, next to comic books, really loves romance novels, specifically Black romance. And romance novels I always love because, like, sure, you're going to get the happy ending at the end. Like, you know how it's going to end. You might even know how the couple they're going to get together. But even though you know all of these things, you still show up and go along for the journey just because the women that are writing these books, they got it down packed.
Mhm.
They and I don't know, I tip my hat to them, and I think that's why I have such a great appreciation for a limited series because you got to make sure that people enjoy the ride between book 1 and 5 or 6 or whatever it is.
Right. Right. Now, as far as like um this being like the first couple of creator owned projects that you're going to
Mm-hmm.
be doing, did you learn anything about
Yes.
your storytelling? And
Yes.
did anything come as a surprise?
Yes. So I will say that some of the stuff that I learned while working on Temporal has paid off in Roots because Temporal was technically my first.
Yeah.
So there was still some growing pains and stuff there. just for my first time doing a creator owned project. So yeah, and what I learned about myself is that sometimes I either have to push myself,
Hmm.
or I've been fortunate enough to have editors that were like, okay, I see what is here. I need you to pull it out just a little bit more. And for Temporal, James was extremely helpful with that. So by the time I got to Roots and working with Jamie Rich, I think he only had to say that to me once, and then it was just like pedal to the metal because I was more comfortable in my ability to create an interesting world and characters that did not depend on 80 years of lore or the already being attached to a bigger name and these types of things. Like the confidence in like, yes, this was created by Stephanie Williams and it is going to be wonderful and great because it was and not because it's tied to all of these other things.
For sure. Now your comic journey,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
starting with your fan fiction and now bolstering into an entire career in comics right now. I mean,
Yeah.
almost going on what, like close or over a decade right now?
No. Well, I guess if you include like everything, the entire
Yeah.
journey, yeah, shit, yeah.
Yeah, like now
Ooh,
how
yeah.
how are you able to basically how are you managing? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's funny. Last year was probably the least amount of work that I had, but it also was just the toughest year. Not even just because of the work aspect, but because I felt like I was at a crossroads and it was going to be like, okay, so you either really lock in and one, get proactive about emailing editors, either whether it's cold pitching them or not.
Hmm.
Really start working on these original ideas that you have and, fleshing those out and pitching like you have lost your mind.
Hmm.
All of these things. Also getting out of, not even necessarily my comfort zone, but trying the things that I said that I wouldn't. And
Hmm.
asking myself, why was I even stopping myself? Because even Roots is something that at one point I said I didn't necessarily want to write. The story is set in 1905, starring a Black woman.
Hmm.
Nothing fun going on, right? But
No.
no, like, but that shouldn't make me shy away from telling a story during that time and, figuring that out. So yeah, I don't know, like it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it is a lot. This year I have said no more than I ever had before, which has been scary.
Hmm.
I've had to set harder boundaries, which duh, like you should absolutely be doing that, but sometimes it's hard to do that. And also just I don't know, like I'm at a point now where, of course, I'm pretty sure to everybody, it seems like I'm doing a lot, but really I'm not because
Hmm.
publishing and the way that it works, there's things at different stages, but
Right.
really being hyper intentional in either the projects that I'm putting out, the projects that I say yes to,
Hmm.
and the things that I go to. Like this year I think I did almost 20 something cons by the end of this year, which is a lot.
Yeah.
I will not do that again. But I know because of what I learned from last year, I knew how important it was for me to just be present and put myself out there because, just working a regular 9 to 5 before this, and you're looking for a job when you look busy, when you're already employed,
Yeah.
all of these things seem to I don't know, be attracted to you, like opportunities and things like that.
Hmm.
So that was part of the reason why I said yes to a lot of stuff. And it worked.
Mm.
It worked a lot better than I mean a lot more than I thought it would, which has led to me having to say no to certain things. But at the same time, like I don't know, that just reaffirms in me that I know what I'm doing because I am getting the results that I'm hoping I would get in return or even better.
Right.
So I'm doing well. I really am.
Good. Good. That's good to hear. Now, is it a lot easier or better yet, is it Is it more is it more of an easy transition doing more creator owned product projects?
Yeah. So oddly enough, it has been, and to be honest, it's been something that I've been wanting to do for a while, but and it wasn't even a thing of waiting on it to be a perfect time. I just was going to do it once. The opportunity came to be, I guess. I didn't want to force it.
Yeah,
And I'm glad that it happened when it did because a lot of stuff that I was able to learn while working on other IP projects and working with a lot of editors who are amazing, my writer's toolbox is way better than what it was a year ago, 2 years ago, and so on. So to be able to take, all of that I've been able to absorb over the last 3 to 4 years
yeah,
has been a blessing. Like not everybody gets that opportunity. So to kind of be able to do that, I don't know, like I'm very thankful for that. Like
excellent.
I know that Roots for sure couldn't be something that I could have written 2 years ago. Temporal definitely not because I would have been stuck the whole time of, well, how do I skip to the bad stuff to get to the good stuff and just like, well, we just write our story.
Excellent. Stephanie, I appreciate you talking with me about this.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So, Temporal, of course, drops October 8th from Mad
Hmm.
Cave Studios. Uh, Thank you for being here. I appreciate you
Yeah.
doing this with me once again. For everybody out there, if you haven't had a chance to see Stephanie's work, please get out there and get any of these books.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
of course,
Please do.
in the next couple weeks, you can get your hands on Temporal just like I can. So, once again, as thank you for everybody here at the Facts Project. We will see you guys next time. We are out.